So I'm going to check this out, this nifty little article. I'm going to make this brief. I am uploading a lot of content to other platforms that don't pertain to stuff like this or New World Order shiznit. So let's take a look at the comment section. See if we have any interesting personalities, any characters. Hopefully no trolls in the comment section from last night on Bitch to the Oot. Well, it was about ticks. Thumbs down clown. When you go low, trolls, he thumbs down bots you, we go high. Read between the lines. There you go. Sit and spin, you fucking trolls. You got Tony Todd. You people can't eat meat because you're destroying the planet, but hey, it's fine if we build 5,000 data centers that destroy everything, including your life and freedom. Yeah, these dumb sons of bitches gotta go. Absolutely, Tony Todd. Absolutely, they are destroying everything. They blame us for what they do, and then they make us want to pay for it. Put the screws to us, right? The tyrannical screws to us. Enough's enough. Enough's enough. A lot of people's got their number. You know, I was at the gym the other day, and they're talking about, this guy leaned over, I mentioned that to you. He says, hey, you heard about the petition for the data center? I said, no. I said, I know they're trying to put one up here, but I didn't know there was a petition. So yeah, so I mean, just average Joes are sick and tired and see this for what it is, evil. Just up the road, before I even ever heard of a data center, a couple of years ago, we were driving back from a town about 20 miles north, and on the way back, I saw this massive development, and it looked like it was off limits, top secret, and I was like, is this a FEMA camp? It's a data center. It's a data center, massive, huge. They put them up all over the place, all over. They are destroying us. Right. You're right, Tony Todd. You're right. See, IRS, Bill Gates is a good man. Vaccines save millions of American lives. The jab is 100% safe and effective. Yeah, he didn't just say that, Trump. And he's old school. And a lot of old school people. Even listen, it doesn't matter how much money you make or what position you have. If you believe vaccines, I grew up thinking vaccines were great. A lot of people did. My aunt, God rest her soul, she was a millionaire. She believed in vaccines. There's plenty of people, doesn't matter, rich, poor, believe in vaccines. So yeah, he's one of them. And he should never have pushed that, Trump. But don't kid yourself. Biden did too, big time. Don't forget his fucking commie state of address. Remember that State of Union where it was all red in the background? It looked like all communist shit. And he said, I had enough of you. What did he say? I had enough of you purebloods. Pretty much is what he said. I had enough of you. My patient's growing thin with you. In other words, you vaccine deniers. He said that, Biden. So he was in on it big time on this. Don't forget that. A lot of people forget all these things. They just focus on DT. He's not the one that pushed it. Like no. I mean, he did put his share pushing it. He did, and that's wrong. But I like the way most people out there leave out Biden that was pushing it. All these fucking de Blasio pushing it, offering donuts and hamburgers and shit like that. Don't forget that, okay? Just let's not forget that. It isn't just one person that was pushing this shit. Puka Jake was in the house. If Gates is being mentioned in so much shit, why is there no investigation, execution of an arrest warrant? Not the other type. Well, exactly. He's mentioned a lot. Bill Gates, the cat's out of the bag with him, but nobody's going to do anything because you know who's in charge of everything. It ain't us. It's not us. It's not us. And so they don't, in my opinion, they don't give two shits how much his Fauci's named Tedros Adhanom or whatever his name is called out on his corruption. They don't give two shits about Bill Gates and how much we call him out on his corruption. They don't care. Epstein is out of the bag, the genie's out of the bottle, and they don't care because they know that they're in control and there's going to be no repercussions. No, not even a slap on the wrist. But yet we still are not going to stay silent. We're not about all this shit. We're not going to stay silent. Jimmy James into his house last night. Jimmy James, and we got Fred the Man. Francis, I really have to wonder how legit this tick thing is. Maybe alpha gal has to do with jabs or other factors. See, I'm thinking so. I ain't worried about ticks, to be honest with you. I just think I eat a lot of raw garlic and stuff and hot peppers. It's in my blood. And if garlic can ward off vampires, it's going to ward off a fucking Bill Gates tick. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not worried about it, but I will protect myself. I'll wear clothing appropriate if I'm out. I did get bit quite a bit. I got a bit on my stomach, and it was turned into like this. It turned into like a circle that big on my stomach, but it went away after some Benadryl cream was put on it. I woke up and I got this bite right there. And this is after being outside for the last few days, but it covered up. Flannel shirt, jeans, steel-toe boots, hard hat. But I'm not afraid of this. I'll protect myself when appropriate. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna like put on my muzzle and FaceTime and go, oh my god, there's weaponized ticks out there. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Nah. Just know it's a thing. It's amazing how much our world has been hijacked by these devils. It's amazing. It's like a few corporations own the media. About 6 own the food, give us the illusion of choice with the generic version and the brand names. It's just unbelievable. We're always being programmed. Now back to your regularly scheduled program. Even the music that you jam to and you juke and jive to is weaponized and is programmed. Everything. The fucking movie you go to, you thought you were enjoying a Star Wars movie, it's programmed. Everything's programmed. It's ridiculous, man. It is. It's so pissing me off. And then we got this shit to deal with. So here we go. From 85% white to minority in our own country by 2050. Is it really by 2050? Because I feel like it's a lot sooner than that. And I'll get into that a little bit in a second. In 1965, about 85% of Americans were white. Today, that share is closer to 59%. Is it? Is it really that high? This is according to census data. Latino and Asian American populations have driven much of the nation's growth, reshaping political maps in Texas, Georgia, and Arizona. Non-whites are set to become the majority for the first time in the U.S. by 2050. A situation mirrored in up to 16 states, including New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, according to the census data. Between the falling birth rates, chain migration, anchor babies, and the planned demographic changes by our social engineers, non-whites will be the majority by 2050. Or sooner if the Democrats get back in office. They would open the borders up again. There's no reason to think otherwise. How is opening a country's borders legal? How is that? How do you get... Well, why am I even asking that? I mean, look at all the corruption that's been going on. So, yeah, of course. Of course they can open up the borders and get away with it. We've seen that for 4 years. Of course. Yes, Bill Gates can, try to force jab us. Bill Gates can, and co. can, create weaponized ticks and release them into the atmosphere. Bill Gates and co. could make weaponized mosquitoes and drop hundreds of millions of them or whatever it was in Florida and other places. Yeah, that's what they do. Of course. And they get away with it. So it stands to reason that they can open up the borders again. It stands to reason with no repercussion because... Is it the inmates are in charge of the jail? Is it the mental patients are in charge of the asylum? Is that what it is? Because that's what it feels like. In 2000, just 3 states, California, Hawaii, and New Mexico, had less than 50% white population, according to the New York Post. In 2000, just 3 states, California, Hawaii, and New Mexico, had less than a 50% white population. I just repeated myself, didn't I? That's okay. The article repeated itself. The forecast trends are set to continue, with white people becoming a minority or close to minority in a total of 24 states in the not too distant future. I think it's going to be more than 24 states, all right? Because it feels like it's the tide has changed even more in my neck of the woods. And of course, don't Don't forget this fake news narrative. We must dismantle white supremacy. Where's this white supremacy? What year? What year are you libtards in? What year? 1860s? Hello, they want their narrative back. You still living in the 1860s with Ku Klux Klan and the pointy hats? Idiots. There's no white supremacy. I would argue that there's black supremacy nowadays and minority supremacy and fagala supremacy, right? They could get away with this, that, and the other. But if a white person commits the same crime that these non-whites or these fagalas commit, the white person has to own up to it. But for some strange reason, they could pull the race card, they could pull the LGTB or whatever card, and they could get away with practically murder. Practically, you know what I'm saying? So we're just white supremacy. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's so stupid. It's gay is what it is. It's dumb. It's retarded. But here we are. In Alaska, where white people will drop to 50% of the population by 2060. In Alaska, the population of white people will drop to 50% of whites. That means only half of Alaska will be white, not a majority. Louisiana will be at 51%, Massachusetts 46%, Minnesota 51%, Mississippi 51%, North Carolina 49%, Rhode Island 47%, and Virginia 47%. If you think that these non-whites will be not nice to white people, think again. You'd be sadly mistaken. That's been evident over the last years. You've seen Groids attacking white people, Groids attacking Asians, Groids attacking Groids attacking Jews. Calm down, BitChute. Don't get a woody over that I said that. All right? It's always them doing it's 13% committing 50+% of the crime. And the less of us and the more of that flavor, well, 13% committing half of the crime. What happens when it's 30% of them? How much crime of that 30% will be committed? At least it'll be a lot more crime, right? Because that's facts. 13% committing 50% of crime. If there's more of them, do you think there's going to be less crime or more crime? Based on the facts that we have before us and what we see every day. These are facts. That's not a fact. White supremacy is retarded. It's retarded. White supremacy, but yet I don't know of any white-only colleges. Do you? Do you know of any white-only network on TV? But you have BET. You have black colleges, right? Where's this white supremacy? What year are they in? These fake newsers, these libtards. I can't stand it. But yeah, you already know that we're on a trajectory to be the minority. But I would actually say that we are now the minority. I went to the town next to me that was always mostly white. You very rarely saw a Groid there. If you're new to the channel, Groid is short for Negroid, which is the scientific terminology for a black person. Just like Caucasian is the terminology for a white person. So I say Groids. Next town over. Mostly white since from the get-go Geico. Today, you go to Sprouts, you go to Fresh Market, you go to anywhere in that town, maybe one employee in each store is white or two. The rest of them are Groids. Not even Hispanic, Groids. Shoppers, mostly Groids. Hardly any whites. Today, I noted that everywhere I went. I said, are white people do they not live in this town anymore? That's all I saw, black people. That's strange. I wasn't in the ATL. What the hell's going on here? I wasn't in the black mecca of the world. Or in the United States. I was in a town that I've always went to, and it was mostly white. And over the years, yes, I've seen increasing amount of Groids working there, but different stores and stuff. I think DEI is a factor. But even the people shopping, going in and out, pulling up in their nice cars, they're so held back by white supremacy that they have the privilege to drive these fancy cars and go in these highfalutin price places like Sprouts to charge out the wazoo for a lot of their products. They're so held down by the man that they could go shopping at Fresh Market, which is jacked up prices. They go shopping at Sprouts, which is jacked up prices on a lot of stuff. Isn't that weird? But they're held down by white supremacy. They have their own fucking BET, Black Entertainment Channel. But that's racist. Where's our white entertainment channel? Anybody ever ask that question? You even have Spanish to have their own friggin' channels. What was that one that got involved in politics? I can't remember, but anyway, where's if we had a white entertainment channel, they would say, "Oh, that's racist." Well, then why isn't black entertainment channel racist? They'll say, "Well, a lot of channels out there are white. They just don't have to call them it, but they are because they don't allow blacks on there." Bullshit. I have yet to see one channel on TV that doesn't allow a Groyd on there or some minority. Bullshit. And they're pushing this left and right. If we're still the majority, supposedly white people, why are the commercials overran with minorities? And every now and then they sprinkle a token white person in the commercials. If we're still mostly a white country, we should be showing more whites. That should be represented in the commercials more than minorities. But that's not the case. I catch myself tossing up my hands going, and watching these commercials on YouTube. Are there any white people in these commercials? Where's a white person? Oh, there's one. They finally put one in. So where's this white supremacy? It's bullshit. The whole plan is like the attack on white male and white people over the years from the left, because everything retarded and evil is from the left, is because they want to get rid of white people. We're the ones that, let's face it, white people created like the Mozarts, great infrastructures, inventions, order, right? Go to what happens when you go to Africa? I thought they were kings and queens. When you go to Africa, what do you see when you go there? It's a third world cesspool. Where's all that ingenuity? Well, if you go to England, Europe, where the white supremacists live, so-called white, where white people are. Well, they're not the majority anymore, but there's still some white people. They created all these nice buildings, the arts, like Picasso, the music, like I said, Mozart and Beethoven, and Baroque art, and all kinds of stuff. I'm not an expert on arts, but I mean, I have a general idea of where. It wasn't Africa that came up with all this. It wasn't Africa that created this great infrastructure that we have around the world in the West. It was, a lot of it was white people. I'm not saying Asians didn't have their part, and of course they did. But it wasn't the Groyds. It just wasn't. Overall. So, the less of us, the less, like I said, 13% for starters committing 50% of the crime. You don't like that? Does that hurt your feelings? Well, change it in your community. Change it. Change it. You be a voice in your community and say, hey, look, pull up your pants. Stop acting a fool everywhere you go. Learn to speak right. Stop committing crime. Be a voice then. This is all done by design, much like everything else. I'm going to leave it at that.